Hi everyone, this is post game three for for round three of the Benjamin Franklin Open. It's December 21st. Hi Akil.
What's up?
We're gonna go over his
Let's
game
see
today.
those lines.
Oh, that's just a selection
Cool,
thing.
cool, cool.
Yeah, and yeah, he had black again.
Yeah. So round three of the tournament. Won my first game against a 12:39. Drew my second game against a 12:30 with black. Won my first game with white. Drew my second game with black. I have a black again. 1.5 out of 3 right now. Heading into this game against 12:31. Provisional 12:31. Um, Seemed a bit stronger. I think he beat a 1470 in the first round, and then drew a 1588 in the second round. Yeah, so he performing pretty high. Um, but I mean, black pieces stay solid. See what happens. So he opens up with d4. Go with knight f6. Continues with mainline c4, e6, looking for our Nimzo standard stuff. He goes knight to f3, anti-Nimzo, so we just continue with queen's game declined. Go with d5. I've continued with the knight c3 move order. We just play c6, go into Semi-Slav. And in this position, he plays the move bishop to f4. I didn't think too much about this move because I know bishop to f4 is a fine move and the queen's game declined. I have been told after this game that here we just take on c4 and black is better. I looked at dc4. I just kind of assumed something like a4. Boom. We get pawn back. And white's happy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when they get three moves like that, yeah, I'd be happy too.
Yeah, but black is apparently black is like substantially better here after dc4. But now I know that. Typically the main lines in the Semi-Slav are going to be e3, bishop d3, going for your typical Moran systems, or the anti-Moran with bishop to g5, where I would have played knight bd7, and after e3, queen a5 going to Cambridge Springs. And that's about it for there. So in this position, I just could play knight d7. Decided to stay a little bit more flexible in case he wants to exchange. And in this case, I would have played c takes, so I can go with knight c6, which I thought was fair. So I played bishop to e7, looking to just cast as quick as possible. He plays the move e3, and I short castle, pretty standard stuff. And he plays the move bishop to d3. Here I'm already thinking about dc4, bishop c4, b5, bishop d3, or bishop e2, and then bishop e7. Trying to play it like a Moran or semi-Moran. Decide just to wait another move, see what happens. And if he castles, it doesn't really change my plan here. So I play knight b to d7, just typical Semi-Slav move, which you would play, and then we kind of just try to see what happens. He short castles like I expected. Don't think there's much else to look for in the position, unless he maybe wanted to exchange, maybe a4, maybe rook c1.
Yeah, and as white, like instead of castling, like I would consider taking on c4 now that the knight has committed to d7, because you said that if white exchanges on c4 or on d5, I mean, then that opens up the c6 square for the knight. So after you play knight d7, knight bd7, I'd be like, as white, I'd be like, oh, maybe I'll take on c4 now. So I think that would be the only main other consideration that I would think about.
Yeah, and I think if he takes now, I take with the e-pawn, right?
Oh,
I mean, I don't want the symmetrical structure from trying to win. That's vaguely what I've been told. And if I'm not really trying to win, keep the symmetrical structure. Can't really lose.
fair enough.
I guess at least it makes it easier. But here, I love the open lines, especially because I play into the bishop here. I take on c4 now. He takes. I go b5. Not sure if that's particularly good in this situation with this bishop on f4, but I didn't really see how it makes a difference. And this is always just a standard idea. And then I go bishop to b7, which is a standard move. And he goes a3 here. And this move is very obviously trying to prepare the move b4. So typically you'd play a6 and try to play for c5 to open up your bishop. And if you do that successfully, this bishop is a sniper.
Oh, sorry.
No, what do I? Never mind. That's fine. So in this position, I probably should play a5, and I was deciding between. I was deciding between the move a5 and a6. I know a6 is okay because that's typically the book move in this situation, but a5 seems a little bit better. But I'm never really threatening c5 because just knight takes here. At least that's what I thought. So I decided to play a6 anyways, and if he plays b4, this bishop sucks right now, but probably just knight b6, knight gets a better square, bishops can come back through e7, probably reroute somewhere, or even do this exact maneuver that happens sometimes with the light square bishop, or we just try to trade off as soon as possible. I think all those things are okay. Because typically this is pretty much like a French defense. This is your bad bishop and Semi-Slav, and it just exists, and you have to deal with it for a while.
Yeah, after like if b4,
Before I was either playing knight b6
yeah,
or something.
knight b6 looks the most appealing. I'm just like, well, I'm kind of
But knight
afraid of.
b6 e4 immediately.
Yeah, and you can't take on d4 because of. Wait, no, you can't take on d4. No, you can't. I'm stupid. Never mind. The knight's guardian. The knight's
But
guardian.
in that position, I feel like you find some play with rook c8, playing for something, even second pawn here maybe.
I don't know. Could you play? Could you play?
Or just play
a5?
a5. Yeah, actually, yeah, a5.
I don't.
A5 taken. We're happy to liquidate here. I think.
Well, he has to take because I guess he can't. Because the pawn on b4 is hanging it if he doesn't take.
Yes.
So I go. Okay, it's probably just a5, I guess.
I play a6. First mistake. I took the safer option instead of what I thought was best in my calculation. I probably should have played a5.
Oh well,
But
he
I
had,
think this is fine here.
wait maybe b. Oh, I forgot. Like, it wasn't your turn to move.
Yes.
I guess maybe b4 and then a5. Anyways, that's kind of funny. A6 and then b4
Yeah.
then a5.
Which is why I think a5 was better to begin with. But then I maybe have to change my plans a little bit with this c5 push. But he justifies my entire scenario and goes queen e2, which I think is an awful move.
That really does justify everything you just did.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
mean, but that also begs the question, why play a3 if you're not going to go b4?
I guess he didn't.
Which I talked to him after the game. He was like, oh, I don't know.
I guess
fair enough.
I guess he didn't want you to play b5. I don't
Fair.
know.
But b5 even as a pawn sec becomes interesting after the c pawn is traded off.
Yeah.
Not even a pawn sec, just to get the bishop out.
Yeah, I don't even know, man.
I kind of like these bishop on e7 though, which is a weird thing to say.
That is kind of a weird thing to say.
But I think I like having just the bishop here, and eventually put it to f6 once we trade some pieces off.
It's a good
But
bishop. It's a
Queen
good
d2
bishop.
gives me c5, and I'm 100% confident I've equalized at this point.
I agree with this.
He takes, which why? I feel like you let me take in this situation because knight takes. I'm not even really threatening to take the knight and give you the IQP. It's just your knight's just chilling here. But I guess I'm not going to complain about this. So I mean, you have a decision to take with the bishop or take with the knight. I would assume both are fine, but like, why not threaten basically hanging bishop?
Yeah, why not get a bishop for free,
Yeah.
dog?
So we take with the knight, and also this was an idea here for me.
Yeah, you have really great control of the e4 square.
If something leave somewhere, because takes here, and then glue it in with f5, maybe Nimso style, and then go rook f6, lift, and all that good stuff.
Very ambitious goals.
Yes, and no, but I have the sniper bishop right here, so this knight's almost like kind of tied down defending stuff.
Not very knights indeed.
Yeah, it's so bad. But plays knight to d4, which again I thought was very sketchy because there's my first thing. Obviously, you're trying to find a way to make this work, but it just doesn't because
Wait, define this. What is
I'm
this?
just trying to make a fork idea work here with pieces like this because
Okay.
it doesn't seem like pieces should be placed like this.
Okay.
Obviously, you want to make this work too, but that hangs a queen. Right, so I can find a way to make it work because obviously bishop d6, and if he lets this happen, phenomenal. I'll take my free piece, but he would just trade off the bishop. So, yeah, so I just cash in, take the bishop. I'm happy. And then this position, I was like, yo, I think this bishop is stupid. Why not get both bishops? And what I failed to recognize here is he doesn't have to move this bishop. But basically what I had planned is if he does this, boom, and we win a piece because of the pin. And if he does this, I go here. 96 doesn't work because the queen hangs. So I go here, this guy would go back, and I just fork here. And he can't even sack his bishop with the fork because I just win two pieces, basically. And I think, but what I think I failed to consider, he just leaves the bishop here. And this doesn't work because it just takes. And I think he failed to realize that also because he played bishop g3, losing on the spot. He plays h takes g3 here, which I don't think he realized his pin yet, which was very obviously in the facial expressions afterwards. So if he played f takes, I mean, maybe he has some chances down a piece, but you're just down a piece at the end of the day. e5 thinks for a bit, plays rook d1. I think the game's pretty much over at this point.
Cleanup time.
As long as I convert correctly, which I made an effort to convert as cleanly as possible. We'll take a free piece, which I don't have to take yet, actually.
No, you
I
don't.
feel like I should. Because it's just a piece.
Fancy people will wait one more move.
Yeah.
You could go.
But I go bishop to f6 now, putting more pressure on the pawn. He defends it with rook d1, just centralizing his rooks. I play rook d8. You want to trade? We trade. Cool. He goes rook to f1, which just seems like already desperation time for him. Which it is, to be completely honest.
I broke down a piece.
And I was really hoping to try to get something like this, where I sack the rook, swing the queen in because of this pin, and boom. Because I do my puzzles.
That's so ambitious, bro. I hate you're thinking about that.
I thought a way to make that work, but at the end of the day, I'm just up a piece. So,
No.
queen d7, we'll go to...
So
I think queen d6 is probably a better move here.
so extra.
To anticipate that I have to try to triple stack here.
Maybe.
So, queen d6 is probably slightly inaccurate on my part. But again, you're just up a piece. You can do whatever you want as long as you don't give it back. Rook to d2, rook d8, rook a d8. Rook d1. Now I go queen d6, which is where I saw the fault in my plan. He goes g4, which is sure. I mean, it's like I thought his idea was something like this, and if I take his two pawns coming at me, bishop to e7, push, queen up. But
Nothing to worry about.
I think the plan is just way too slow, which I realized. I can still just go rook to d7, and if he tries to play this, I go here, and if knight comes here, I just take everything, and I'm just up a clean piece, not even a piece for a pawn. And then I'm probably cashing into one of these pawns here. Queen to f5. Don't know what this move does. So I just make the natural move in this position, just make sure it doesn't blunder anything, but we just kick the queen away with g6, and the queen is back to c2. I guess that makes my life a little bit more difficult because I can't just take, because yeah. So we slide our other rook in to d8, and he goes knight back to e2, defending this pawn one more time. However, what you'll realize is this rook has lost one of his scores. And I realized this pretty much instantly too. So I started calculating bishop g5, and I feel like sometimes I give my opponents a lot more credit than they deserve. And I was like, I feel like he had to have seen bishop g5. But then, because bishop g5, like put on the board bishop g5 or d3, and then bishop d4 picks up the exchange. At minimum, probably picks up more.
I mean, it's just down a piece, so he just
I mean, it's different. It's difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also realized he was probably forced to play f4, and bishop f4, knight f4, queen f4. This pawn drops by force. Yeah. So I play bishop g5, knowing that I'm just winning more material. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing much for him to do. He plays f4. I'm like, sure, I'll just take another pawn. Knight takes here. Plays rook to f2. There's no real threat here because rook always takes. So I play queen g4. Slides his other rook to f1. I mean, maybe it gets a little bit annoying because this rook kind of loses mobility if you don't want to drop this. Even though there's really no real threat. Because you can kind of just let them take on f2. But I was like, okay, we'll take on d4, pinning the rook regardless. Queen to b3 just pretty much walks into bishop d5. Queen to g3, no real threat, so we'll play bishop to c4, hitting the rook. Kind of discoordinating his pieces. He goes rook to e1. I go bishop to d6, looking to go here and trade more pieces. I also looked at this move, looking to slide over. But didn't really find a concrete way through to utilize his pin to win something. I'm sure there definitely was more of a long-term plan that I could have employed, maybe such as this, to just force trades. But I would argue if I played this move, he would just play king to h1. Oh, like this move, he would have played king to h1. And this position does play king to h1, which I didn't see many alternatives. So I play rook d6. If he trades rooks, I'm happy. He doesn't trade rooks. He does rook to c1. I slide my other rook into e8. And he slides his rook in here. Maybe his idea was something like this. Takes. And maybe some stuff down here. I mean, it's past desperation time at this point, so I'm not entirely sure on what he's looking for. Queen 2-3, essentially forcing a queen trade. You can go here, I guess.
Still a queen trade.
Yeah. Is there anything and stuff? There's maybe this. I don't know. But in this position, he plays queen c7, which hangs checkmate in 4 moves. And, yeah. So, queen to h6. If the queen comes back to h2, we go check, takes, checkmate, because this is the queen spin. What happened in the game was king to g1, rook e1 check, rook e1, rook e1, king f2, and then queen e3 checkmate. And overall, yeah, I thought I played just a very, very nice game. I think even if he hadn't blundered the piece, I have a crushing positional advantage. And that I probably would have been very, very happy with. And I think I would have been able to... I don't know, I think the game goes on if he doesn't blunder the piece. But I was very happy with my position up until then.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he was putting pressure on you at all during the game. Good tactical vision. Good tactical vision. All you got to keep out for free pieces.
Yeah.
And yeah, your conversion should always be that smooth. yeah. When it's switching up a piece, so
Yeah.
but in a very symmetrical position like that, it's like it's very nice. It's it's very easy, definitely an easier type of position to convert than others.
I thought queen e3 checkmate also looked very nice on the board.
Yeah, triangle mate, classic.
Yeah.
The classic. All right, let's go to the game review.
Yes.